Tax season. You either love it or you probably dread it, right? Especially after the last few years. So what's in store for 2025? We're going to dive into the problems that are still hanging around, the new dangers you absolutely need to watch out for, and this is the good part, the huge new tax changes that could mean a lot more money for you. Let's kick things off with a feeling I think a lot of you will recognize. This right here, from a Reddit user last year, it just says it all, doesn't it? Holding my money hostage. That feeling was everywhere. So many people did everything by the book, filed on time, and then nothing. Just silence. And that shared frustration really sets the scene for the first big issue we need to talk about. And that brings us to what I'm calling the Great Refunds Delay. Honestly, millions of us were stuck in this loop, hitting refresh on the IRS website, asking that same question day after day, where's my refund? I mean, just look at the difference between what was promised and what actually happened. The official IRS line is 21 days if you e-file. Simple enough. But last year, if you got an agent on the phone, they were telling people to plan for 10 weeks. And the crazy part? For a ton of folks, even that was optimistic. People were waiting 6 months, some even longer. That 21-day promise felt like a complete fantasy. So what on earth was going on? Well, when people did manage to get through, they got a whole bunch of different reasons. The big one was a system glitch, which seemed to hit early filers and anyone claiming energy credits especially hard. That glitch basically kicked the returns out of the fast lane and into a massive pile for manual review, creating this huge traffic jam. Throw in some identity verification holds and what many suspect were major staffing shortages, and well, the whole system just got overwhelmed. And this just captures the agony of it all. It wasn't just the delay that was driving people crazy, it was the total lack of answers. Imagine waiting on hold for 2 hours just to be told, yeah, it's still being reviewed. It felt like the whole system was just a black box and nobody had the key. Okay, so while honest taxpayers were fighting this internal battle with the system, a whole different war was being waged on the outside. And that brings us to our next section, the scams, the schemes, and the outright dangers the IRS calls the Dirty Dozen. Yep, every single year, the IRS puts together this list, the Dirty Dozen. You can think of it as their most wanted list for tax scams. It's their way of telling all of us, hey, these are the tricks criminals are using right now to steal your info and your money. Knowing what's on this list is your best defense. So first things first, you have to know how these scammers are going to try to reach you. 2 big words to remember are phishing and smishing. Phishing is when they send you a fake email that looks like it's from the IRS. Smishing is the exact same idea, but it comes as a text message. They'll say there's a problem or dangle a fake refund to get you to click a bad link. Here's the number one thing to remember. The IRS is not going to slide into your DMs or text you out of the blue. They use good old-fashioned snail mail. But the scams go way beyond just weird texts. You gotta watch out for ghost preparers. These are people who prepare your taxes but then refuse to sign the return. That is a giant red flag. And be so careful with tax hacks you see on social media. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Scammers also love to set up fake charities after natural disasters. These are all traps designed to get your hard-earned cash. Okay. Enough of the scary stuff. We've talked about the delays, we've talked about the dangers, but honestly, the biggest story for the 2025 tax season is all about change. Huge change. So let's get into our third section, your new playbook. Because when it comes to taxes, knowledge really is power. A massive piece of legislation nicknamed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBBA for short, has completely shaken up the tax code. And really understanding what's in this bill is going to be the key to getting the biggest refund possible this year. And this slide right here shows one of the most incredible changes, especially if you're a homeowner. The cap on how much state and local tax you can deduct, people call it the SALT deduction, it didn't just go up, it quadrupled. It shot up from $10,000 to $40,000. If you live in a state with high taxes, this is an absolute game changer. The bill also brought in some fantastic new bricks aimed right at working folks. Did you work a bunch of overtime? You can now deduct up to $12,500 of that pay. If you're in the service industry, you can now deduct up to $25,000 in tip income. And for our seniors over 65, there's a brand new extra $6,000 deduction. Just awesome.
And the good news just keeps coming. The child tax credit got a nice little bump to $2,200 per kid. For families growing through adoption, part of that credit is now refundable, which is huge. It means you can get that money even if you owe zero in taxes. They also added a new deduction for the interest on a car loan as long as it's for a new American-made car. And for all the business owners out there, they brought back the 100% bonus deduction for equipment.
Now, with new laws, you usually get new paperwork, right? So this year, you'll want to keep an eye out for a couple of new forms. If you're into crypto and you sold some assets, you'll be getting a Form 1099-DA. And to claim that sweet new car loan deduction, you'll need the Form 1098-VLI from your bank or lender.
So you add all this stuff up, new deductions, bigger credits, and you have to wonder, what does this all mean for the bottom line? Could we be looking at one of the biggest refund seasons ever? Well, the interim Treasury Secretary seems to think so, and he made a prediction that is, frankly, pretty wild.
And here it is, a direct quote from Scott Bessent. He said, "We're heading for a gigantic refund year." And his logic is actually really simple. Most of us, we don't fiddle with our W-4 withholding forms during the year. So when the government cuts taxes, but we keep having the same amount taken out of our paychecks, what happens? We end up overpaying all year long. And he even put a number on it. Bessent suggested that because of this over-withholding, a lot of working Americans could see their tax refunds go up by as much as $2,000. An extra $2,000? And all of this potential good news, all this optimism, it all comes directly from the changes in that OBBA. When you combine lower tax rates with all these new deductions and bigger credits, the average amount of tax people owe is just going to be lower, and that's what leads to those bigger refunds. So that's the big question we're left with, isn't it? On one hand, you have a system that's still got some serious issues with glitches and scams lurking around every corner. But on the other hand, there's this massive tax overhaul that could lead to your biggest refund yet. Being ready for both the bad and the good, well, that's going to be the key to making it through what is shaping up to be one